All right, book talk for another Literature Circle book. This is Tangerine, and it's written by Edward Bluer. And this book, if you're a soccer fan, obviously you see the front cover of the kid playing soccer. You might like this book. It is right on seventh grade level, and it is about this kid by the name of Paul Fisher. Now, Paul is a brand new kid. He's a middle schooler. His family moves to Florida. Tangerine, Florida is the name of their town. And the moment you meet this family, he has an older brother by the name of Eric and a mom and a dad. The moment you meet the family, you realize that they're all about older brother Eric. They really could care less about Paul, which is very sad. Older brother Eric is a senior in high school. He is a star football player, and he's being recruited by all these big schools to play collegiate football. So, of course, scholarships are a possibility for him. And every conversation at the dinner table for mom and dad is always about Eric. Oh, Eric, how was football today? Eric, hey, are you going to go talk to Florida State, to play football there? So Paul feels a little bit left out. Paul's sport is not football. Paul's sport is obviously soccer. And he's the goalie for his old soccer team, and he decides he wants to try out for the middle school soccer team in his new school. So he does, but there's a problem. The moment they see Paul on the team, they realize he's got these really thick glasses, and it's a prescription that he's legally blind without his glasses if he does not have his glasses on. And due to his IEP, they say that Paul cannot play soccer at that school because of his glasses. And there's absolutely no reason for it, but Paul tries to fight it. They say, no, there's nothing we can do. You can't play soccer here. Well, in the meanwhile, Paul, as he's making friends there, he's doing okay there in the new school, but they have what they call a sinkhole problem, and the whole ground like this just caves in, and all of a sudden like half the school falls into the ground. So guess what happens? Paul has the choice now of either staying there at his middle school or transferring to a different middle school. Well, he chooses to transfer because he wants to see if he can find a soccer team to play on at the new school. So he does. He transfers, and guess what? They allow him on the soccer team. Well, the cool thing about this soccer team is that they are a co-ed team. They have boys and girls on the team because they don't have a girls separate program. They let the girls play with the boys. Now, a lot of people might think, oh, that's kind of silly. How could the girls possibly hang with the boys? No. Some of these girls are amazing soccer players. They're all city, and some of their best players. And Paul makes the team. They don't care about his glasses. They want him to be a part of the team, and he is soon a part of the War Eagles is the name of his team. Well, the dynamic of this team is a very close-knit group. They are very good friends, and they'll back each other up. They kind of almost have a thug-like mentality in terms of like going to bat for each other when the rest of the team might have problems or something. And Paul realizes that very quickly when trouble happens, those teammates back each other up, which is pretty cool. And they get into some pretty intense soccer matches throughout the book that you'll read about, which are incredible, and they make the book very exciting to read. And meanwhile, Eric is going through his football season, and he is just plain a jerk to Paul. He doesn't like his little brother. He makes fun of him constantly, and he and his friends just really find it any way possible to make Paul's life a disaster. And Paul doesn't really know what to do because he knows his parents favor his older brother Eric, and doesn't like that at all. Well, getting on into the book here, the exciting part comes at the end when Paul is at a practice, and he notices a scuffle underneath the bleachers at the stadium. So he kind of wanders over and looks over behind the bleachers, and there is his brother's friend beating up this kid underneath the bleachers, and his brother is off to the side as well, and then they run away. And this kid had a pretty serious head injury. Well, Paul didn't really know what to do. Nobody saw it except him, and they didn't even know that Paul was watching when this happened. So school assembly comes this next week. They're all standing there. They're introducing the players. And this boy that was beat up is standing there in the middle of the assembly. Well, all of a sudden, he passes out cold, falls over flat in his face. They run him to the emergency room. They goes to the hospital. And guess what? He dies of a head injury. They don't know how he's gotten this head injury. Obviously, it's from getting beat up a week ago. But hey, there's only one person that knows about that, and it's Paul. So Paul has the choice. He can either throw his brother and his brother's friend under the bus and rat them out and tell them exactly what happened, or he can go on like nothing happened and cause no ruffles in the feathers of anybody. You'll have to read the book Tangerine to find out what Paul does. Amazing soccer scenes in this book. You'll love reading about the championship game that Paul plays in there. And I think that you would really like Tangerine if you gave it a shot. I will warn you, it's the longer book. There are over 300 pages, so you'll have about 40 pages a week to read in this book if you happen to read Tangerine. But you know what? A strong reader can certainly manage that. That's all I have to say. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video.